So here it is, early July, and we're finally settled into the RV. We've got it at an RV park where we've got it stored, and we're kind of living in it part-time. We've been on a couple camping trips since we got it back in February. Been back to the dealer a couple times for some work, some warranty work. That's going well. Just getting on that list of what needs to get done. There's some more work coming up, but Tiffin and the dealer have been real good about taking care of us. So it's kind of a pain to have to take it up there, but that's all part of the break-in process. So trying to stay uncluttered as much as possible. Move some stuff in from the other place, trying to see if it's going to stay here or not. We've got our iMac, we've got a monitor, and we've got 4 TVs in here, so I don't know that we need either one of those, but it's nice to get Netflix, and I don't think the TVs that we've got in the coach are set up for the internet, so we'll have to see how that goes. And we're finally getting around to taking a look at some of the paperwork and some of the details that come along with one of these guys. We've got the Allegro owner's manual. Been reading through that. A lot of general information in there. We've got a remote that goes with the radio on the dash and about 8 pages of instructions, so we'll get to that one of these days. And you get a lot of other information. They give you a whole binder, or whole bag, I guess, full of information on all the various components, so that's all in there. One of the things that we're going to need to do is work on the auto level system. The coach is not level. We can do it manually, but just curious to see if somewhere in there, or if not in there on YouTube, we can find out how to reset this so we're not continually manually adjusting the levelness of it. And then along the way, when we were looking at this guy, we did some internet research, and I knew we were getting a F53 Super Duty chassis, and that's pretty much what we're buying as far as a powertrain. And I downloaded this from the Ford website and was able to find that we've got a 26,000 pound chassis. Gives you a lot of dimensions, and there's been a fair amount of internet chatter about the front axle weight and how much this particular model can support. So we're going to start with this. We know we got a 26,000 pound chassis. We can carry 30,000 pounds. Ford says we can put 9,000 pounds on the front axle. So we'll need to get it weighed and see how that goes. But all part of doing the homework and the research. Because at the end of the day, we're really driving a big truck. And our big truck drives pretty well with the suspension we've got on it, and really have no complaints on the handling. I'm sure there's an aftermarket steering stabilizer we can put on, but right now there's really no reason to. So again, we're trying to avoid the clutter and get organized, trying to figure out what we need, what we don't need, what to do with, there we go, cabinets. We are solar prepped. Have to find another place for that. Solar prepped. Which means we've got a solar charge controller we'll need to put in somewhere. The wires go from the batteries and up to the roof through this cabinet up in here. Not sure if that's the best place for the charge controller, but that's another project for another day. And again, on the clutter side of things, one thing about living in a small space, it really makes you think about what you want to keep and where you're going to put stuff at the end of the day. And a lot of people can't believe I just said that, but that's true. So some of the add-ons we did, we got dinner cooking here. That's another thing, trying to figure out what to cook, what not to cook. I did a stir fry last night, had grease and stuff everywhere, and so much for stir fry. That kind of cooking, I guess, goes outside as we move forward. We did put up a knife rack. We were afraid that, or a knife bar, and we put up 2 of them. Put 2 bars. And those are on there pretty good. They're not falling off, so we've got the knives up there, and those are pretty solid. The bathroom, everything's working well. Did a couple loads of laundry in here. Takes a little longer than at home. The washer takes about 100 minutes, and you got to be careful, I suppose, on how much you put in there. And the dryer takes a couple hours. But if you plan it out and get to the point where you're not really relying on a deadline to do your laundry, this is pretty handy to have. So I've moved my fish picture to inside a cabinet where it's not seen on the outside. Really like the shower. That's working well. We did redesign the soap dish because the other one fell off. But that one's working really, really well. None of this stuff really falls around when you're driving, which is pretty nice. And other projects we've got is how to organize the cabinet here. We'll be working on that. And in the bedroom, we did get our dish network activated and working. One of the things we found along the way, we've got a dish receiver that we put in. Comes with a dish remote. Tiffin preps everything for DirecTV, and you get a DirecTV receiver, which we put away in the closet. One downside on the dish is with the infrared repeaters that we've got around the coach, for whatever reason, does not work with the dish receiver. So in order to use dish, you have to come into the bedroom, pick your show from here. It could be worse. I mean, you got to walk about 20 feet, but it would be nice to be able to do it automatically, but how spoiled do we want to get, I suppose. And along the way with figuring that out, we're back into my favorite part of the RV, and that's the cable closet. So I'm a little more schooled on what goes where, but I'm really looking forward to probably disassembling this side over here, taking a look at each and every wire, doing some internet research on what those boxes are down there, and just kind of tidy it up so we see what we're looking at. This might be a good spot to put in the Wi-Fi repeater and the cell phone repeater. The reason I say that is we've got a hole in the wall that goes, it's probably 6-8 inches between here and the back of the back cap on the coach. And then if we've got to go up to the ceiling, might be some way to route all the wires in through here. And we do have access to 110, believe it or not, in here, and probably be easy enough to figure out how to get a 12-volt converter or run a 12-volt wire from one of these lights down in there. So this area back here may become something of the electrical part of the coach that we're working on. But right now we've got internet from the campground. It's good enough for what we're doing. We've got to change hotspots because where we're at does not support Verizon, and we understand that T-Mobile's got a super hot deal on hotspots, so I may be switching that around shortly. And we've got our map. We've been to a couple places in California. We're located right about here. And since we did go to Tiffin back in January, and we flew into Huntsville, went over to Red Bay, and actually the first night we went across the border to Mississippi, up to the paint area they've got up there. We were inside the coach there. We were inside the coach in Alabama. So as far as we're concerned, we've had the RV to both Mississippi, Alabama, and California. Probably the next state we're going to go to is Nevada, since we're heading to Tahoe in a few weeks, just for a couple nights of camping in the middle of July. See how we do on the elevation, and we'll go from there. Probably take some bikes up. I have to get the bike rack on there. Well, my dinner's burning, so I better tend to it. And that's where we're at with getting moved in and unpacked in our 34 PA.